Hello friends, Callum here. How are you? Welcome to a brand new video on my channel and a brand new playlist actually, and this one is very cleverly called ColumnAM. It's like CalumAM, but what we're going to do is we're going to run through any writing, any columns that I get in the newspapers. You see how that works? We've had my very first one. I've got it right here. I'm going to give you some of the details in the next few minutes. So if you're going to stick around, then make sure you like the video, give us a thumbs up, and please, please, please subscribe to my channel. I have a target for this year, for 2021, to hit 1,000 subscribers on this channel, and you can help. So go on, press subscribe, get stuck in, get involved, and let's get stuck into it. Okay, look, found it. It's on the middle page of the 7 days supplement of the national newspaper in Scotland. Exams, keep them cancelled forever. That's the headline. Can you see that? There's my name right at the top there, because I wrote it. Okay, now for various reasons, I'm not just going to sit here and read this out because that wouldn't be that fun. It wouldn't be very fair either because this is in a newspaper and you should buy a newspaper. You should support newspapers because they do good things. I'm going to leave the link to the full article in the description box down below so you can click through it, you can read the full thing. At the last check, it was behind a paywall, so it's up to you whether you want to do that or not. But what I thought I would do was give you some of the kind of key points of what it was that I'd written in this piece to see if you agree with them or not, to see what you think about the kind of premise of what I was writing about in the National a couple of weeks ago at the start of January. As you can tell, it's about exams, and as we know, during the pandemic in the UK, exams have been cancelled. Now, in fact, across the UK, they've just gone. They've been binned off because pupils are having to learn from home, kids are learning from home, and the kind of idea, the thought was that it wouldn't actually be that fair to assess people, to make them do exams when perhaps they've not been in school and they've not had the chance to learn in the same way as they might have been expecting to. So exams have gone for this year. And that got me thinking. It got me thinking, why on earth do we still hold on to exams? Why are they even still a thing? I know that I used to hate them. In fact, I still do. I hate them with a passion. Thinking about them right now scares me. It freaks me out. They were so stressful. They just made everybody anxious. They made everybody worked up. And actually, how useful are they for actually assessing anybody's ability, anybody's potential, anybody's creativity? My argument in this piece in the newspaper is not very helpful. I mean, the argument's helpful. The argument is that exams are not helpful. Does that make sense? Let me give you some of the details. Let me just read you a little bit of this first section. We've all witnessed the disposal of all sorts of norms since March last year. Teaching round the dining table has replaced the classroom. Working from home at the other end of the dining table is par for the course. And as of this week, drinking alcohol outside is now against the law throughout Scotland. Unprecedented times indeed. As I say, it got me thinking about the future, which is admittedly a bit of a dangerous game to play in a pandemic where everything's very uncertain and very unknown. But anyway, we got stuck into it in any case. And actually, I think that as old things disappear, so other examples include working in an office, that's gone. Exams, they've gone. As these things disappear, as they evaporate into thin air and nobody particularly cares about them this year, why should we place such importance on them in the future? It's interesting because a lot of you watching this will probably have exams of some kind in your future, you know, in the next couple of years, whether it's at school or whether it's at university or whatever it is. And actually, when I was writing this piece, I read in The Guardian that some students described the cancellation of exams as leaving them feeling like another year wasted. That's what they said. And I do understand that, I do, as I write here, because our lives in school and in university are driven by exams. And so now there's nothing left to achieve for this COVID generation. Their exams have gone, and so it feels like to them that all purpose has gone. That can't be healthy, can it? Why are we all having to base our entire education on exam results? I think this bit's important as well, where I go on to say, could I pass an exam now? Absolutely not. I remember the occasional Othello quote and can probably throw a smattering of political theory at you from my days at university. The rest has been consigned to the dustbin of history, with all my other bookish theoric, which, by the way, is a quote from Othello. You're welcome. I threw physics to the dogs, and I'll now have none of it, as a Scottish king almost said. That's a Macbeth reference, by the way. I was just showing off a little bit. I think one of the main things about exams is that we're really assessing our ability to recall information, and I just don't think that's all that helpful. It's all about memory, and I get that there are exam techniques in there, I totally concede that. I think that's important. I think exam technique is good, it helps us analyse things, it helps us write good essays, but there is absolutely no reason that we couldn't learn those skills without then having to sit an exam at the end that just piles on the pressure. And actually, because of the exam technique, we write an essay based on what we can recall, and if we can't recall anything, then there's no essay to write, and that all seems a bit pointless to me. This is one of my favourite paragraphs, okay, so I'll just read you a couple of lines from it. This pandemic could be the modern revolution within which we have all tricked ourselves into believing we exist already. Surely there's more to life than doom scrolling and forgetting what we just watched on Netflix. This is the time for visionaries to reach for the stars, time to burn exams to the ground and let students actually demonstrate how brilliantly wonderful they are, by letting them learn and grow all year long, experiencing workplaces, pursuing their sporting goals, inventing and creating. Time to free them from the constraints of how many marks they get for remembering how to calculate the length of a side of a triangle. Gosh, I actually just felt a bit nauseous at the thought. I wonder what you think about that. Do exams have these sorts of memories for you? Because I certainly just feel quite overwhelmed at the thought of exams. I just remember those few months in the build-up, couple of months, few weeks maybe, in the build-up to exams where nothing else mattered. It was all focused on exams. It was like tunnel vision. And it was a period of time where I was so worked up, I didn't exercise, I would eat terribly, and so everything just kind of fell apart. And all in all, you just feel terrible. You feel this pressure to perform for 2 hours in some sweaty old gym hall somewhere. And actually, what is that doing? What is that teaching us? And what is that letting us demonstrate to people by way of our ability, our creativity? In some people's cases, their ingenuity, their ability to invent things and create things. I just don't think exams are worth it. What do you think? Leave a comment down below. I like this bit too. So, of course, exams disappeared, and this is a Scottish newspaper, so I focused this on Scottish exams. So I had a little look into what will happen for pupils this summer, and I read that, and bear with me, I read that in the absence of exams, oh sorry, you probably can't see me, I read that in the absence of exams, the Scottish Qualifications Authority will work to understand the standards required for qualifications before applying it to specified pieces of evidence such as coursework. Which I think is fancy talk for, we're going to accommodate your brilliant abilities outside an exam hall this year and look at how consistently brilliant you've been throughout your school year, because that's what matters when it comes to assessing your brilliance. P.S. We're not using that stupid algorithm again. I don't know if you remember last summer when an algorithm was introduced to try to determine what grades would have been if exams had been sat, and it was an absolute disaster. It was just a huge disaster, and it happened across the UK, to be fair, to try and replace the exams that had gone by the wayside. And this algorithm came in and it was just absolute nonsense. Teachers, pupils, students, universities, everyone hated it. So we're not using that again, thank goodness. So with all of this in mind, trying to ease the pressure on pupils, on students, and just take away that exam stress, which I think is vitally important given all that's going on right now, I actually remembered that recently I arrived back at my flat. Okay, I walk in the flat door, unlock the door, in we go, take off my jacket, hang up my jacket, and at that moment, all of a sudden, I just felt this huge sense of relief, and immediately my brain said, I don't have any homework to do tonight. And that is where that sense of relief came from. I do not know why. I don't know why that happened. I don't know why I felt that sense of relief. But it was just the most wonderful feeling that I could just go in, make my dinner, sit about and do what I wanted. I felt no pressure, no stress, no anxiety to make sure that I was performing, to be able to tick some boxes correctly in an exam. And that was a wonderful, wonderful feeling. And I just wonder that with the pandemic in mind, with the example that we have here that exams can be cancelled and the world won't implode, why on earth we would ever go back to exerting that amount of pressure on students, on pupils across the UK. Actually, leave them cancelled. Leave them cancelled forever. Why, in 2021, do pupils still have to follow my example and spend 21 years earning that feeling of relief of not having homework to do? That seems old-fashioned and stupid to me. What do you think? Leave me a comment. So there you are. I just wanted to give you an idea of what was in my first ever sort of column, opinion, comment piece in a newspaper. As I say, it's in the 7 days supplement of the National. You can click the link down below to get a digital copy of it. As I say, it's behind a paywall, so it's up to you whether you want to subscribe to get the full article or whether you're happy with the little bits that you just heard here. There's a whole 1,500 words of it online, so you can enjoy every single last one if you want to. That's up to you, though. I hopefully will be back with another CalumAM in the not too distant future. It depends if any newspapers want to publish any of my stuff. So until then, make sure you subscribe because there's lots more to come on this YouTube channel. Give me a little thumbs up if you like. Help us on the way to 1,000 subscribers in 2020. I believe in us. I really, really, truly do. Thank you for everything, and I'll catch you again soon.